Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. We got some books to talk about, y'all, but before we do so, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all the shenanigans. You like my shirt, y'all? I call this my Buttercup shirt because we got these a few years ago in honor of my friend Gina, who was simultaneously in the process of finishing med school, crushing breast cancer, and getting engaged. So if I'm ever like feeling whiny, like today I was like, oh, my back hurts. I rode my stationary bike too long and I'm sore and I don't feel so good. I put on my Buttercup shirt and I hear Gina's little voice saying, suck it up, Buttercup. I crushed med school, cancer, and finding the love of my life all at the same time. All you did was ride a bike for a little while. Although Gina would never say that because she is the sweetest, most humble person ever. But my Buttercup shirt just reminds me that as much as I want to fuss about my life sometimes, some people have actual hardships. So anyway, let's get on to talk about these books, y'all. I've been watching people on booktube reading these book series and just loving it. Like loving reading about the world building and the character creating and all of this in these series. And y'all, I'm a little jealous. I want to be those people. Not the people in the books, but the people reading the books. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a series to fall in love with, but I'm a little bit afraid that, like with many things in life, before you find your Prince Charming, you got to kiss a bunch of frogs. So I'm going to start kissing frogs and see what I come up with. By that I mean I'm going to read a bunch of book ones and see if I can find some series to get involved in. I'm going to start off. Y'all remember that I got this book. I got book 1 and book 2 of this series. I think there are 3 or maybe 4 books in the series, but I have book 1 and book 2, which is a good start. Of the Red, I think it's called The Red Queen. Okay, I don't really know what it's called, but the first book is definitely called Red Queen. This is the series, y'all, where the people have like different color blood, like red blood and blue. I think red and blue is too obvious. Red blood, is it red blood and gold blood or red blood and silver blood or something? And the red bloods, I think, are the ruling class and the other bloods are the working class. And does the queen, all right, I don't really know, but obviously somebody comes from one class and finds out they're a member of the other class. I might not know very much about this book, but I'm going to start reading it. This is young adult. I think we talked about this when I got them. I don't know if y'all can see this because it's very bright out. I'm trying to enjoy some of this. I'm trying to pretend like it is nice out. I was going to say I'm trying to pretend like it's nice out. It is nice out. It's Minnesota spring nice. So it's warm and it's sunny, but there's a breeze. It's a bit much of a breeze. Other places, this might be called windy. But anyway, so what I was going to say was, I was going to try to show you this, but I don't know if you can see it because it's so bright out here. But this is young adult, which you can tell because of the typeset, right? It's like really wide and kind of big, and it's set far apart. But anyway, so this should be a fairly quick read, I think. So I'm going to get started on this. I might get back on the bike and do a little easy ride to loosen my back up a little bit. But I'm going to start reading Red Queen, and I'll check back in a while and let you know what I think. I started reading the Red Queen yesterday. Y'all, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm going to go jump on the bike, ride for a little while, and then I'm going to sit on the couch and read books for the rest of the day. So I thought I would check in and let you know what I know about the Red Queen, because I think I told, or Red Queen, it's not the Red Queen, I think it's just Red Queen. It's just Red Queen. It's like the Foo Fighters. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I think I told you some stuff yesterday, but I just made it up because I had no idea what I was talking about. So here's what I know so far. Mare is the main character. She lives in this sort of stratified, what word am I trying to say? Separated society. And people are separated by blood color, and the reds are kind of like the rulers, like the ruling class, and the silvers, so the red bloods and the silver bloods. The silvers are the working class, but it's more than just the working class. They're like the low class. Like they're kind of seen as dirty by the reds. And the reds seem to have some kind of like special powers, maybe. I don't know yet. I haven't really gotten that far. But we start off with them in this like Coliseum thing, and something's going on, and there are these dudes with like special abilities. So I don't know if that's just because they're reds, or so like if all the reds have these things, or if these guys are special. I don't know. But the so the reds seem to have some kind of special abilities, and they treat the silvers badly. And Mare has talked about the silvers having to serve in the military. Like her dad was injured in service, and her brothers, she has brothers, and I think when we meet her, 2 or 3 of her brothers are already off serving. She's going to have to go serve. And we've met a friend of hers whose name I can't remember, Killorn maybe? He's going to have to go serve, I think. So they all have to go serve unless they're like in school or have a job or something. So that's what I know so far. Mare is our main character, and she's about to have to go serve in the military, or she will have to go serve in the military. All right, so I don't know a whole lot. So I'm going to go ride for a little while and read, and then I'm going to sit on the couch for a few hours and read. So I'll check back in at some point and let you know how much further I've gotten, but I'm enjoying it so far. I like the writing. I like the writing style, and I enjoy the development of the characters so far. I mean, nothing's really happened yet, but it's interesting. It's young adult literature. I don't know if I told y'all that. So it's kind of dystopic, but again, it's YA, so it's dystopic light. So let me get on the bike, let me get into this, and I'll come back in a while and let you know what I know. I rode for a while and read, y'all. Now I'm on the couch with my upside down book and my dogs, and I'm ready to read some more. But I wanted to check in and let you know what I thought. I'm enjoying the book. Mare is in fact a silver blood. I'm not sure if I knew that when we talked before. She's supposed to go into the military, but she ends up getting this sort of mystery position at the Red Bloods castle, like working for the Reds. So that's going to keep her from having to go in the military. But then there's this big development. We find out something about Mare, and it becomes this whole thing. Before she went to work for the Reds, Mare was kind of like a scammy thief kind of person. And I was thinking, it seems like we're seeing this character, or this character trait, I guess, over and over again in these dystopic books that we're reading, where the character lives sort of on the fringe of society and steals or scams or does something to get by, and they're the protagonist, and it's okay that they're doing these things because the people in charge. Daisy wants to get by, and the camera's right in her way. Let's see what she does. Oh, this is gonna, hang on. It's the protagonist, and their scamming or stealing or whatever it is seen as okay because the people in charge are the antagonist. So I don't know. I'm seeing that over and over again in these books, and it's kind of interesting. But anyway, so Mare's in the palace with the Reds now, and now we're getting some sort of palace intrigue. We've met the royal family, and they're interesting. The Reds do have powers. I think all the Reds have powers. They have different powers based on their families. So things are kind of starting to develop based on who the people are, and there are kind of alliances starting to be drawn. And it's getting interesting because, again, there's some palace intrigue going on. We have 2 kind of haughty prince brothers that we're getting to know, that Mare's getting to know. And I don't want to tell you too much, but it's really good and it's very interesting. And I'm about, 2/3 of the way done. So I'll finish either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll check back in and let you know what I think. But y'all, I'm already kind of starting to maybe regret my decision, because what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just read a bunch of first books of series and see which ones I want to actually continue the series. But I already think I want to read book 2 of this one in a minute. I want to read it next. And I already am not going to do that. So this is already a bad idea. But anyway, if anything happens and I have to come back, I'll check back and let y'all know. But otherwise, I'll check back at the end, let you know what I think, let you know if I still want to read book 2, and then I'll let you know what book we're going to read next. Y'all, I finished Red Queen. Let me just tell you, I'm not going to tell you a whole lot, lest I give up some spoilers, but for the last, 100 pages. I was on a tack reading it. It is, like I already told you, there's palace intrigue. Folks turn on each other. Folks that you think are with somebody are with somebody else. You learn stuff about folks that you had no idea was going on. It's really good. I will absolutely be reading book 2, which is Ice. I don't know what it is, but I have to admit I cheated a tiny bit, but only kind of. So I did not start. Okay, I kind of started book 2, but I'm just counting it as just still being part of book 1 because it's in book 1. So I liked Red Queen. I love the characters. It is young adult. I told you all that. So it's like dystopia light, but in spite of that, there is some development to the characters. Not as much as we would see, I think, in like a literary fiction. So if the same story were told in like an adult literary fiction book, I think we would see a lot more development of the characters, but then it would be like a lot sadder and there'd be a lot more yakety schmackety when somebody dies or something. So we don't get all of that. And like folks you think are dead that come back and they're not dead, or you think they died one kind of how but they die some other kind of how. That's easier in young adult because you don't get all of the backstory. So there's a lot more shenanigans going on. But anyway, I enjoyed Red Queen a lot. I will continue reading the series, but not right now because that's not what we're doing. So I am running to the Walmart. I got to pick up my prescriptions, and y'all don't judge me. I'm wearing shoes today. I did not leave the house in my house shoes like I did last time, and we got caught out because I went to go to the drive-thru and the drive-thru was broken. So I learned my lesson. I am going to the drive-thru, but I'm wearing actual shoes. So I will not be caught out of pocket again at the Walmart. So I'm running to the Walmart to get my prescription. I got to go drop some things off at the UPS, and then I'm going back to the house. I'm going to post up on the couch, and I'm going to read Weetzie Bat. That's our next book 1. I have decided that I am going to read book 1 of the Weetzie Bat books, which is Weetzie Bat. I read it, y'all. Did I tell y'all this? I read all of the Weetzie Bat. I talked about this in a haul. That's what it was, in an unhaul. I read all of the Weetzie Bat books slightly obsessively when I was in grad school back in the 90s or early 2000s, and I loved them. So I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not going to have the same feelings towards Weetzie now that I did then. But I'm going to take the risk. I'm taking the jump, y'all. So I'm going to go to the Walmart, run to the UPS, head back to the house, post up on the couch, read. It's like Weetzie Bat is like 100 pages. And I am only reading book 1. So I will do that today, and then I will check in, let you know how it goes, and let you know what our next book is. Y'all, I made it to the couch. I put on some comfy clothes. I got my dogs. I read Weetzie Bat. Already done with that. It's a very quick read. It's like 109 pages. And y'all, this is what the pages look like. So it's a quick 109 page read. It's a fun book. It is exactly as I remember it. And let me say this. I think you can read it as either just like a fun little romp with Weetzie, who is this enchanting little pixie of a girl, little bitty platinum blonde thing running around living in LA, just living her life with her gay best friend Duck and her boyfriend, my secret agent lover man. Or you can read it as Francesca Leah Blanc's sort of treatise on social issues that were happening in like the 80s into sort of the late 80s, but she doesn't come right out and like address the issues. Like Weetzie was sad about something that happened, and I don't want to tell you anything as usual, for fear of spoilers. But Francesca Leah Blanc tells us she moved like a sleepwalker. She was the girl in the fairy tale, sleeping in a prison of thorns and roses. Wake up, my secret agent lover man said, kissing her, but she was suffocated by roses that no one else saw. Only their shadows showed on her lips and around her eyes. So that's how Francesca Leah Blanc refers to the depression that Weetzie was experiencing. And that's just an example of the world of Weetzie Bat. Like, that's how Francesca Leah Blanc communicates in Weetzie Bat. And y'all, I'm down for it. I am in for it. I love Weetzie Bat. Now, this is the first book in the series. I think there are 6. But the rule is I can only read the first book and then I have to move on to my next first book. So I have to leave Weetsy and Duck and Dirk and all the kids and move on to our next book, which is A is for Alibi by Sue Grafton. Y'all, I have not read a single Sue Grafton book. I haven't read a single page of a Sue Grafton book, but these come highly recommended. They are critically acclaimed. They get great reviews on Goodreads and all of the places. So I believe this series follows a detective, somebody. Obviously I know nothing about it. So I'm going to get off here. I'm going to start reading and then I will check back in and let you know what I think when I know what I think. All right, so I'll check back in a while. Whew, y'all, it's been a long day and a long week. I'm about to finish reading A is for Alibi while I eat my dinner. The intern is out of town, so I have the house to myself. It's nice and quiet. Not that I don't miss him, but I'm going to enjoy some time reading. So I am almost done. Did I say I'm almost done with A is for Alibi? I don't know what I told y'all about this book because I don't think I knew anything about it. Our main character is Kinsey Milhone, who in my head is Milhorn. So if I say Milhorn, I mean Milhone. She's a former police officer who is a private investigator. She's hired by a woman who just got out of prison for killing her husband. And the woman wants Kinsey to figure out who really killed her husband. It's an interesting little story. I think it's a police procedural. Does it count as a police procedural if your protagonist isn't a police officer? Like, Kinsey's an investigator, so she goes through all of like the, procedures, but she's not police, so I don't know. Anyway, so we follow her through the investigation. It's interesting. It's kind of a bubblegum read. It's not fantastic. I don't feel like the characters are very deeply developed, but that's okay. And y'all, if you're familiar at all with this series, this is the first of like 25 of these books. So I'm guessing at least Kinsey's character gets developed more as the series progresses, but it's all right. I don't know. I'd give it about a 3.5 maybe. It's been a quick read for me. I think I've said like 5 times that I'm almost done. I think I've figured it out. I'm expecting a really big twist, which is about to happen. Let me do say this about this book, and I assume the whole series is like this, but I don't know because obviously I've only almost read this one. Y'all, this book was written in the 80s. So, and our main character is a female in a predominantly male field, in a stereotypically male role. So there are lots of sexist tropes in this book. I was okay with it because I knew that it was an 80s book and it just is what it is. If you're going to be bugged by that, don't even bother because this will drive you crazy. You will spend the entire time hating it. But if you're okay with that and you're down with it and you're looking for a quick sort of detective investigator read, this might be the one. I'm going to go ahead and finish this and then start another book tonight. I expect to finish this pretty quickly. If there's anything interesting left to say about this, I'll come back and tell you. But otherwise, y'all, I'm going to jump into Me Before You. I know that I ought to be reading this while I'm home alone. I'm pretty sure it's going to break my heart. All that I know about it is that it's Jojo Moyes, and I think she writes tearjerkers, right? Something about the main character has some kind of accident and ends up in a wheelchair, and his caregiver is like the protagonist or the other like main person in the story. That's all I know. So I got this book and the second book in a Goodwill haul, and I just got the third book in a recent Goodwill haul. So I was like, well, that's an omen. Let's go ahead and read this. So y'all, I'm going in. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm probably gonna regret starting this while I'm home alone with no intern to cry to, but I'm going to jump in and see what I get. So I'm going to eat dinner, finish up A is for Alibi, and then start Me Before You. And then start Me Before You, and I'll probably just wait and check back in the morning and let y'all know how I'm doing, all right? Y'all have a great night, and I'll see you in the morning. Y'all, I just wanted to check in quickly and let you know how things are going around here. We are posted up on the couch. I have my puppies. I have my emotional support hoodie on. Y'all are probably going to be seeing this a lot in the next few days. Working my way through Me Before You. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the characters. Our main characters are Louisa and Will. I don't think we've talked at all about this because I don't think I knew anything about it when last we spoke, or don't think I knew much about it. So Will is this Richie Rich guy who has a freak motorcycle accident. And by freak, I mean he gets in a motorcycle accident and he's not on the motorcycle. And he becomes a quadriplegic, which is sad, but I mean, it's sad and it's tragic, but like to us as the reader, it's not sad and tragic because we don't really know, like we've just met Will when it happens. So it's not like, you know, we've followed him and we've watched him develop and we know his life and then we watch him have this accident. So pretty much the whole time we know him, he's been a quadriplegic. Well, Louisa is this middle class girl who lives in like the local town, and she comes to work for his family to be his like carer, his caregiver, whatever, but really just his companion. So she is companioning him and he's just grumpy and sad. And we learn pretty quickly that he is the way that he is because he was a very active, very physical person and he just can't be that anymore. So he's having trouble accepting his life the way it is now compared to his life how it was when it was like his real life. So like I said, I'm about halfway through. There have been some developments. I don't want to say much because you sort of work your way into the developments, but I have found the characters to be very well developed, very fleshed out. We get to know Will's family, not like well, but pretty well. And it's interesting to watch how Jojo Moyes, I hope I'm saying her name right. I say her name a lot, and I don't know that I've ever heard anyone else say it, so I just say it the way it happens in my head. But anyway, it's interesting the way that Jojo Moyes presents Will's family and shows how they've been affected by his injury and how their lives have changed because of his life change. It's very interesting. But like I said, there have been some twists and turns. I have a feeling that a big one's coming. I think I'm going to go get in the bathtub and read because I'm afraid there might be tears. So here's the deal. I'll come back at the end and let you know my overall thoughts on the book. But if I get my heart broken, I might not tell you because I might not tell you either way because it's a good book and I'm enjoying it so far. So I don't want to give any spoilers. Sorry, Daisy is trying to muscle her way over here. So I don't want to give any spoilers that would make it not enjoyable for y'all to read if you want to read it. So now I'm just rambling. So I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go read and I'll come back when I'm done, which will probably be tomorrow because I still have kind of a hefty chunk to read. So I'm going to go read. I hope y'all are having a great day. I will check back in and let you know how it all goes. Y'all, hey, good morning. I am obviously fixing to get on the bike. Well, I guess it's not obvious. I'm fixing to get on the bike, but I wanted to check in and let you know that I did, in fact, make it through Me Before You yesterday. It's a fantastic book. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to tell you anything about my emotional reaction to any part from the middle on, but it was very good. I enjoyed Jojo Moyes' writing. I enjoyed the characters, her character development. I've been kind of trying to think about what I want to say about it and how I can, that's too tight, and how I can say it without giving spoilers. And here's what I want to say. We've talked about how early in the book, the first thing that happens is that Will has this catastrophic accident and ends up a quadriplegic. So there's this sort of pall over the entire story. Like there's this just kind of underlying, not really melancholy, but there's just this sort of sense of sadness. And it's not that anyone who is quadriplegic is kind of doomed to a life of sadness. And that's even addressed, I think, very well in the book. But that Will's life is limited from what it used to be to what it is now because of his accident and because of his current situation. So there's that sense of sort of limitation and sadness throughout the book. So even though there are like funny parts and happy parts and celebrations, there's still this sort of like underlying sense of, doom or something throughout the book, which I thought was really clever writing because it doesn't like keep you sad the whole time. It allows you to enjoy what's going on, but I felt like I was still aware that it was there. I wonder if that's what it's like dealing with something like this in your life. I don't know, I'm way overthinking it. But anyway, I did very much enjoy Me Before You. And y'all, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but even though I really liked this book, I liked the characters, I enjoyed the story, I have no desire to continue with the series. And I own the other two books. Remember when I finished Red Queen? There was part of the next book in the back of Red Queen, and I started reading it and had to stop myself because I was breaking the rule, which was I'm only allowed to read book 1 of a series in this vlog. So yeah, no desire to go on to, like, I like these people, but I just don't care what happens to them after this book. So it's a good book. Y'all, let me know if you've read this. Did you read all of the books? Did you care about what happens after this book? I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I guess I don't not care. I don't know. I just don't. I was going to say, I guess I don't not care because I feel like it's ugly to say I don't care, but I just don't care. So anyway, that's done. And now I'm going to start The Firm, which counts because there's another book coming out in like October. And I can't think of the name of it. I don't remember. And I'm looking in The Firm to see if I can find it. Y'all, this book was published like 30 years ago. So, I'm going to start reading The Firm right now. I'm about to get on the bike. I did read this years and years and years ago. I remember nothing about it except the Cayman Islands. And I think I have The Firm and the Pelican Brief mixed up in my head. So I don't even know if this is really the Cayman Islands one. And there is nothing on the cover that indicates if this is the Pelican. I don't know. Anyway, let me go. Let me start reading. I'll check in a while and let you know if this is the book I think it is, or if I even remember anything about it. So I hope y'all are having a good day, and I'll see you in a little while. Y'all, it's the end of the day. I'm tired. The intern made it back to town. He is bringing home dinner, so I don't need to cook. I don't got to do nothing. So I'm going to read a bit. I'm working my way through The Firm. It is every bit as good as I remember it being. I remember not a single detail. So Mitch McDeere is our main character. He is when the book starts, he's fixing to graduate from law school, and now he is a recent law school grad. And I don't want to remind you too much of the story in case you want to either read it or reread it, but he has multiple job offers on the table, and he chooses a seems too good to be true offer, and it is too good to be true. He ends up working for some dudes with some nefarious intentions. Is that right? Is that what I'm trying to say? Anyway, ends up working for some bad dudes unintentionally, but it's kind of a buyer beware situation. He saw the offer, realized it was too good to be true, took the offer, turns out it's too good to be true, and now like his whole life is all topsy-turvy and akimbo. I'm about halfway through. It's a kind of quick read. It's a little bit long. The hardcover book is 376 pages. The paperback is like 500 pages. So I'm working my way through it. I will not finish it tonight. I'll finish it probably tomorrow or maybe the next day. So I don't know that I'll check back in before I'm done reading it because I don't know that there's that much more to say. It's John Grisham. So y'all know how that goes. If you've read Grisham, you know that the characters are well developed. The plot, at least so I've read one John Grisham book that I didn't like, but I don't remember which one it was. But it was one of his not courtroom, like non-legal drama books. And I think my mama has told me time and again that that was probably a me issue, not a the book issue. Because I think I went into it expecting like a typical John Grisham book and it wasn't. So I probably need to revisit that one because since then I have read other non-legal drama books by him and really enjoyed them. So that might have been a me issue, not a book issue. Whatever. I'm enjoying this book. Good characters, great storyline. It's moving quickly. It's had me on attack for probably half of the book. Like, what's going to happen? Or half of what I've read, so probably a quarter of the book. But I'm going to keep reading. I will let y'all know what I think. Oh, and I'm also reading another John Grisham book. This is not even young adult. This is a middle grades book called Theodore Boone, Kid Lawyer. This is another series, which is why we get to read it now. So this is another book one in a series. And I don't have the Kindle version. I have the Kindle version of The Firm, so I can read like in the bed or on the bike or wherever. But Theodore Boone, I did not buy on the Kindle, so I'm just reading it in the book. So it's going to take me a little minute longer than it would otherwise. But I am very much enjoying it. Now, y'all, if you're going to read this, don't pick it up and think that it's like a typical John Grisham book. It's young adult. It's not even young adult. I keep saying that. It's a middle grades book. It's like a middle school book. But for a middle school, and I'm a teacher, so I read a lot of this kind of stuff. I'm actually might end up teaching this summer or doing it in a book club. But I think it's well written for a middle grades book. Some of the words might be a little above age appropriate. like as far as the complexity of the words, not like that they're naughty or anything, but I think that the storyline is appropriate. I think that the way that it's developing, and you can see I'm only, I don't know, a third of the way in, but the way that it's developing, I think is absolutely appropriate for probably average, maybe third through fifth graders. So I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to work on this and the firm. And I might come back before I'm done, but if not, I'll come back when I'm done with both of these, let you know what I think. And then I think this is going to be it for this vlog because I think I've been talking for like a year. So let me get ready for dinner. I'm going to read for a little while and I will check back in when I have something to say. Okay, bye now. Y'all, hey, I just want to do one final check-in, let you know I finished the firm. It was fabulous. Typical Grisham. As you get closer to the end, the tension and excitement builds more and more. So at least I found myself reading increasingly faster and faster, trying to get to the end. Sorry, my dog is pawing me. Trying to get to the end and find out what happened. So that was really good. I will definitely, all right, another little confession. I started to read... Oh, I was going to say, how did I read it in the book? It wasn't the book. It was on the Kindle version. At the end of the Kindle version, it had a little preview of The Exchange, which is book 2. So I started to read just a tiny scooch of it, but I stopped. But so I will most definitely be reading that when it comes out in October. But y'all, I need to talk to you a little bit about Theodore Boone, Kid Lawyer. Now, we talked about this is a middle grades book. So it's marketed for ages 8 to 12, which that's what, 3rd to 7th grade. First of all, that is a huge span. That's a ridiculous age span, I think, anyway. I definitely have some younger grade, like 4th graders, who I think could handle the reading of this book, but some of the topics discussed, I think are not appropriate for younger kids. And again, there's nothing like overly violent or sexual, but it deals with some social issues. Like it goes kind of a lot into issues like immigration. There are some references to drugs, some family issues, and not family issues like that Theodore and his family have, but family. So Theodore Boone's parents are lawyers, so he becomes the kid lawyer because he's around the law all the time. He wants to be a lawyer when he grows up, so he advises his friends who, y'all, a lot of these kids have legal issues. What in the world? But anyway, we have to willingly suspend our disbelief and believe these things would happen in school. Some of the things that Theo, gets himself into and conversations that he has and things that he's exposed to, well, as the reader, your kids, whomever's reading it, are going to be exposed to those things. And I think some of them are a bit much. Now, obviously, as an adult reading kid literature, it's fine. And it's exceptionally mild and vanilla. But say for a 9-year-old reading about somebody with immigration issues and who has to make decisions about their lives based on their immigration status, I realize that's totally real life, but does a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old need to be reading that real life in their like drama literature books? I'm not really sure. So I do enjoy these books, these Theodore Boone books. I think I told you guys, my friend Alex gave me the whole series for Christmas. I'm going to read all the books and I'm sure that I will enjoy them, but I just kind of wanted to put that caveat out there that, and you know what, y'all, let me say this too. I don't even know that those are issues that kids don't need to be discussing, but you know, it's not the kind of thing they need to read in a book, I don't think, without some sort of stake-holding adult in their life being available to discuss it with them. So maybe if your kids are going to read these books, especially littles, read it with them and be prepared, because this might be a good way to broach issues like drugs and, you know, other issues that are going on. But just be prepared to have those conversations with the kids as they're reading these books. And that's all. So, Theodore Boone I will read more of. Obviously, The Firm, I'm going to read the other one of those. Me Before You, unless y'all tell me I need to, I'm probably not going to read those other books. A is for Alibi. I might pick up more of those along the way, but not right now. I'm going to read the sequel to The Red Queen. And y'all, I love Weetzie Bat. It was all I could do not to continue to read Weetzie the instant I finished Weetzie Bat, so I will definitely reread the entire Weetzie Bat series. Y'all, thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos on Monday with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.